Hello, welcome back to my channel. After this video, you'll be able to read a prompt, break it down, figure out what graphic organizer you need, have a basic understanding of what your introduction and conclusion will have, and also an outline for your body paragraphs. Okay, so let's jump right in. So, my new hack, I don't know if you've heard about it, it's called find the verb that tells you to do something, steal, teal or heel, and peel. Okay, let me show you what that looks like. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to look at the prompt. Now this prompt, there's a paragraph here that tells you that there's background information. Okay, we don't really need that. We're going to use that for when we have to beef up our introduction. Our second paragraph, that's what has the information that we need to write our essay. So right here it says, write an essay which you take a position on whether or not mistakes are a key part of discovery. Okay, that's the part that we're going to need. So right here we have to figure out if it's argumentative or expository. It says take a position and it says whether or not. So that shows us that it's actually going to be argumentative. So let's go over here. I've already went ahead and made a T-chart. So we're going to say mistakes are a key part of discovery.
Thank you.
Okay, the opposite would be that mistakes are not a key part of discovery. Okay, so go ahead and write that down. Okay, so remember, if it's a T-chart, you need two sides of the fight. So once you steal this, you just have to go ahead and figure out what would the opposite be. So there you go, you have that for you. Now, that we found the verb that tells us to do something. We stole from the prompt. Teal or heel was T-chart or H-chart. Now we're going to do peel, eel. Okay, now for the introduction, let me just give you a hint here. You have to have a claim and there or a controlling idea. We're not sure what it's going to be yet because we haven't figured out our data yet, our evidence and whatnot, but toward the end, when you figure out what side you want to fight for, make sure you, let's say that you pick this one after you've already found all your evidence and figured out what you want to prove. Just go ahead and even if it's just one sentence, put that there and put that there, okay? If you don't have a claim or a controlling idea that you stole from the chart there, if you don't have that, they're not even going to grade your paper. They're just going to give it a 0 and say it's ungradable. You have to have a controlling idea or claim, or they're not going to grade it at all. Okay, but you really can't put these in there until after you've already read the articles and made your completed data chart. Okay, so let me show you what the peel thing is. Okay, for body paragraph 1, you're going to have point, evidence, elaboration, and wrap up. Okay, that's body paragraph 1. That's going to be the same outline no matter if it's argumentative or expository. It's always peel, eel, W, no matter which type you're writing. Remember, the FSA is either going to be argumentative or expository. It's always that same peel, eel, W, no matter what. So you can just go ahead and memorize that and write that down in your planning sheet when it's time for the FSA writes on March 5th. The second one gets a little tricky because this is argumentative. And what did I say about that? Remember, if you don't add your counterclaim, they're going to deduct 50%. So let's say you went ahead and decided to pick that. Remember, we wouldn't have this yet because you wouldn't have that until after you've already read the articles. Okay, but let's just say you pick this. Okay, so if this is your side, this whole first body paragraph would be about this. Okay, and so you'd have to start the second body paragraph with the opposite side, the people against you. So you'd say some people think mistakes are not part of discovery. Okay, so that would be the point to start that. You'd even put in evidence for them, for the other side, you're being nice, and you'd even elaborate for them. Okay, and remember, elaboration is after the evidence, you say this quote means, tell them what the quote means, and then the second sentence is this is important because. Okay, why should the reader care about that quote? Okay, elaboration is always sentence 1, this quote means, or this means, and then the second sentence is this matters because. Okay, anyway, so point, evidence, elaboration for the other side, then you're going to roast them. Okay, you're going to say, although they may be right or although they think they're right, they're actually wrong because, and then you'd give a second reason from this side. The first reason you used in your first body paragraph. To roast them, you'd use a different reason that you would have in your chart that we don't have yet, okay? So roast, and then an evidence for your roast. So from this side, and then elaborate, and then a wrap up, okay? And that's all you'd have to do. So this is just by reading the prompt and doing my hacks. You have your outline here for getting your evidence, and you even know exactly sentence by sentence what's going to be in your body paragraphs. That's where most of the points are on the FSA in the body paragraphs. But remember, you have to have a claim or counter. You have to have a claim or controlling idea in the introduction in order to have your essay, in order for them to grade it. The claim is for argumentative, controlling ideas for expository. Okay, let's go on to the next one before we run out of time here. Okay, here's the next one. It says your town's public library is holding an exhibit on pen names, blah, 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 who cares? Oh, you've been asked to write an informational article. It's asking you to do something. Okay, so this is when I know I got to steal something, explaining why some authors choose to use pen names. Okay, so let's see. If I put why some authors choose to use pen names, that's not quite right. Remember, your controlling idea cannot be a question. How can I make that a regular sentence and not a question? Well, I got to take out the why part. Okay, there we go. Now, it's just some authors choose to use pen names. Okay, sometimes even by removing the why, it sounds funny. You could say there are several reasons why some authors choose to use pen names. Okay, the one thing you don't want to do is this. Some authors choose to use pen names because. If you do that, now you're kind of having an incomplete sentence. It feels like you're missing the reasons. But you wouldn't know the reasons yet because you haven't even read anything. So let's not fall for that, because then that sentence will sound weird. Let's just keep it like that. And if that sounds weird to you, then you can always say there are several reasons why some authors choose pen names. That way you have a complete sentence and you don't have to add the reasons because the sentence sounds fine without them. Okay? And again, remember, your introduction has to have a controlling idea. So in this case, since there aren't two sides, you could just, since it's expository, right? You could just do this and this. Okay? Even though that's not ideal, at least you have a controlling idea in your introduction, okay? Very important to have that or they're not going to grade your paper. Now I'm going to do my outline for my body paragraphs. Body paragraph 1 is going to be point, evidence, elaboration, and then a wrap-up. The wrap-up just repeats what you said in the very first sentence. Pretend the person that just read it forgot what it's about. You're going to be nice and remind them what they just read about. Okay? Body paragraph 2, same thing, but a different point. Okay? So body paragraph 2 is going to be point, evidence, elaboration, and a wrap-up. See? It's the same. It's just 2 different points. Remember, you're going to have several points here, and each point's going to have 2 or 3 quotes under it to evidence, right? But we don't have it yet. But just by reading the prompt, look at all the stuff we have. We know we're ready to gather evidence. We know what we have to have in a conclusion and introduction, and we know exactly sentence by sentence what needs to be in our body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2. And then again for here, we're not sure which side we're going to pick, but we know that one of these needs to be in the introduction and the conclusion. Okay, so for this one, we're going to wait on adding that sentence here, but we know for sure that we're going to have one of these in here, or we're going to have a big trouble because they're not going to grade our essays. And then we know exactly sentence by sentence what needs to be in our body paragraphs. Okay, so let me show you the other 2 prompts really quickly. Okay, this is prompt 3, right in here. I need you to pause the video at this time and try to do my find the verb that tells you to do something. Steal from the prompt, teal or heel, and then peel. Okay, so show me how you do that, and then do it for this one. Find the verb that tells you how to do something, steal, teal or heel, and then do the peel. Okay, when you're done, I need you to turn those into me. For prompt 3 and prompt 4, it should look, okay, it should look either like this if it's argumentative, or it should look like this if it's expository. Okay, can't wait to see what you come up with. Hope this helps. Bye.